Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are finally putting some Yu-Gi-Oh content back on the channel, and I am resurrecting a very popular series that I haven't messed with in a while. So guys, we are trying to once again make Cyber Dragon as competitive as possible. So if you guys remember, Cyber Dragon is coming out with 2 new support cards. For anybody that doesn't know, I do have some viewers that didn't know that Cyber Dragon was getting new cards. We've got Cyber Jormungandr and Cyber Dark Wurm. These cards are fun. Wurm is borderline a deck saver. If it weren't for that once per duel restriction, it would absolutely make this deck able to do things, but we'll talk about that in a second. But YCS Providence Rhode Island is a hop, skip, and a jump away from me, and it comes out, it's the same weekend as when these 2 cards come out. So my goal is to prep my Cyber Dragon deck to take to YCS and maybe get a top. Now, if you guys remember my last Cyber Dragon series, well, this series, but beforehand, I was trying very many different variations of Cyber Dragon until I finally settled on Dogmatic of Cyber Dragon, and I almost topped a regional. I was 1 win away from losing. We did the math, we looked at my tiebreakers, we saw where my opponent landed, and it was so close, and it was back in when Unchained was the top deck for a little bit, and this guy tried to cheat, and man, there were some moves he did that he got away with, and then our game 3 he won off of a double change of heart. But that's neither here nor there. Regardless, this is my working build right now. I have 2 major combos I want to show you guys that I took inspiration from other combos that have been posted about these new cards, and I kind of tweaked them on my own, and that's kind of what I'm building the deck around, is these 2 specific combos. I've trimmed a lot of the fat out of the deck, a lot of cards we don't need, and I want to talk to you guys about the 2 new support cards and then show you guys the combos. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, keep an eye out so you guys can see the journey as we get ready for YCS. Enough from me, let's start talking. So, if you guys already know about the support cards, you can skip this part, but for those of you who don't know, we're going to talk about these cards real quick. So, Cyber Jormungandr cannot be normal summoner set, light machine, level 5 monster. Must be special summoned by an effect. So it's a light machine that cannot be normal summoner set, which means it's searchable by Cyber Emergency, even though it's not treated as a Cyber Dragon, which is fine. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then take 1 Cyber Dragon. It has to be OG Cyber Dragon from your deck, and either special summon it or equip it to this card. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of turn except machine monsters. You can return 1 Cyber Dragon you control to hand, add 1 polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can use each effect of Cyber Jormungandr once per turn. So, basically, Cyber Jormungandr is a going second, 1 card Cyber Dragon Infinity. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Even its second effect, it's cool that it can attach the Cyber Dragon to itself from the deck. The only reason you would do that is because of the glitch that Cyber Dragon has, where you can contact fuse an OG Cyber Dragon with machine monsters on your opponent's board from the spell and trap zone. It's just an old-ass fusion ruling that it can do. The second effect, though, bouncing back a Cyber Dragon, so it can be any of the babies on the board or the Cyber Dragon that you have equipped. It doesn't have to be a Cyber Dragon monster, just a Cyber Dragon. You bounce it back to hand, you add polymerization from deck to hand. A lot of people hate this effect, but I think a lot of people forget that this is a card. Fusion Substitute is always treated as polymerization, on field, in hand, in deck. It allows you to do a fusion summon, but only with monsters on the board. And then you can banish this in your graveyard, return a fusion to the extra deck, and draw a card. So it actually gives us a little bit of recursion with our main fusions, and give us a draw off of it. How we use it, I'm going to show you guys with the 2 main combos. This is actually one of the key cards to those combos. The other card we're going to talk about is Cyber Dark Wurm. This thing is bonkers. This card is a Cyber Dark monster that is treated as a Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. This is the bridge that Cyber Dragon needed to be able to actually function with the Cyber Dark cards. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, if you have a machine Cyber monster on your field or in your graveyard, you can send 1 Cyber Dragon monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon this card. Then you can add 1 Cyber Spell or Trap card from your graveyard to your hand. You can use this effect of Cyber Dark Wurm once per duel. That once per duel restriction is insanity because this card, while good, is not broken. There are so many broken ass cards in the game right now, and they just couldn't give this one to Cyber Dragon. It kind of pisses me off. But being able to get a level 5 monster that can special summon itself, it has 2100 defense too, so it's also an extra target. It summons itself, it dumps a Cyber Dragon monster Doesn't have to be a Cyber Dragon. A Cyber Dragon monster, so any of the Cyber Dragon monsters from deck as cost. That is fantastic. That means it cannot be Ash. It special summons itself. Then you can add a Cyber Spell or Trap card from your graveyard back to your hand, so it gives you some recursion. It also helps us on the clapback, because a lot of the Cyber Dragon cards, Spell and Trap cards, are all once per turn. This sets you up to go into your next turn. So I'm going to show you guys the 2 combos that I came up with. Again, they took some inspiration from other combos, and then I kind of turned them into something new. So hopefully these will inspire you. Let's go jump in. So going right off of this, I only gave myself 1 card because these are 1 card combos. We have, with the new support, we now have 12 starters in the deck. 3 Cyber Emergencies, 3 Cyber Dragon Cores, 3 Cyber Dark Claws, and 3 Cyber Dark Realms. This is what we could do off of Emergency or Core. So we normal summon Core. We grab Cyber Dark Realm. Activate Cyber Dark Realm. Search Cyber Dark Chimera. We activate Realms effect. Gives us an additional normal summon for a Cyber Dark monster, so we summon out Chimera. We link into Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight is the link, the machine link one that we needed for this deck. But we get rid of the Cyber Dark Realm, which is a continuous spell. I swear, it was like it was made for this deck. We get rid of the continuous spell, we add a Clockwork Knight to hand. Now we activate Chimera's effect. We ditch the Clockwork Knight, get Power Bond. Now we can fusion using our field or hand or graveyard with the Power Bond. Now we're going to link it to SP Little Knight. And then we're going to activate Chimera's graveyard effect. We're not going to activate SP Little Knight's effect as we don't need it. Now Chimera's effect, when it gets sent from anywhere to the grave, allows to dump a Cyber Dark monster. Now, all the Cyber Dark monsters, none of them have graveyard effects. It was basically to get fusion material to make Cyber Darkness Dragon or Cyber Dark Dragon. But now we can dump Cyber Dark Wurm because it's a Cyber Dark monster. They were smart with the way they did this, because now we activate Wurm's effect. Now we're going to dump Cyber Dragon Hertz. We have to dump Cyber Dragon Hertz here. You'll see why with the combo. Cyber Dark Wurm. Now Wurm's going to add us a Cyber Spell or Trap card, which is fine. And now Hertz is going to add us OG Cyber Dragon. We want the OG Cyber Dragon. It's part of the combo. But now we're going to Clockwork Knight, discarding the Cyber Dragon. We have to discard the Cyber Dragon. Sorry, had a phone call. Now, we're going to summon Therion King Regulus. We have to attach the OG Cyber Dragon here. We have to attach the OG Cyber Dragon. You'll see why in a second. So now, if our opponent didn't nib us by now, we are protected from nib. Sorry for my hair. We're going to activate Power Bond. Get our Rampage. Sending Core and Hertz that we sent to the grave. Make Rampage. Now, Rampage effect is important here. We have to send Naxter and Jormungandr. If you guys are thinking outside the box, you might know where I'm going here. Now we're going to overlay into Nova. Bang, bang. Now we're going to detach the Rampage. We have to detach the Rampage specifically. We're going to summon Naxter. Naxter's effect to summon a monster with 2100 attack or defense. We'll get Jormungandr. Now remember Jormungandr's effect, bouncing back a Cyber Dragon. We're going to bounce back the Cyber Dragon that's equipped to Therion King Regulus. We do not need this on the board. That is going to get us our fusion substitute, which we are going to then, well, I should have went into Infinity first, but we're on Infinity now. And now we're going to activate fusion substitute. We're going to fuse together to make I'm going to butcher this name, Heals Velrog, the Mechanical Dawn. We're going to activate its effect to get a fusion spell on our opponent's standby phase. And now we also get to activate fusion substitute, recurring our Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon and drawing an additional card. Now, this gives us 4 interruptions, a spell and trap negate, 2 omni negates, and a banish with SP Little Knight. You guys, we went from having 1 card in hand to now having 3. If we had a full hand, we would have 7 cards in hand right now. We actually went up in card advantage. And we get a fusion spell on our opponent's turn. So if we had 4 other cards that we could set, it's why if you actually look at the build I made, I picked a lot of cards that were good going first and second. Cards like Infinite Impermanence, Droplet, those are all cards we could throw down while still maintaining a hand to be able to play on our following turn. Because again, we're gonna get Power Bond back. We have another well, Claw is probably like the worst card right now because we do. Oh no, because I do play Horizon. So there's that. And then of course we could use the Cyber Dragon as fusion material. So this is the first combo. that I built around. Now we gotta jump into the second one, which is the Cyberdark side, which you can start with Claw or Cyberdark Realm. All right, guys. So here's the second combo. Like I said, you can do this with Claw or Cyberdark Realm, and it's another 1-card combo that leaves you on a monster or a field. So we're gonna start off with Cyberdark Realm. This one you have to jump through. It gets you the same sort of setup, but you have to jump through more hoops to do it. So we're going to Cyberdark Realm. We're going to use Cyberdark Realm for the additional normal summon. We want to use our additional normal summon here. Now, obviously, we have no cards in hand. There's no way to tell what we're going to do with Chimera's effect because we don't know what the rest of our hand's going to be. Say our hand's all monsters. We're going to link into Clockwork Knight, activate Clockwork Knight and Chimera. Chimera is going to dump. Clockwork Knight is going to send the continuous spell. We're going to add Clockwork Knight the spell. We're going to dump Cyberdark Wurm. And now we activate Cyberdark Wurm. This time we're going to dump a core. Watch. Get Wurm. Now we're going to add a Cyber Spell or Trap back to the hand. Now we're going to activate Clockwork Knight's second effect. We didn't use this on the last combo, but you can tribute a monster to summon a machine monster from the grave with 1,000 less attack. So we're going to bring back Chimera. Bang. And now we're going to activate Chimera, ditching Clockwork Knight, adding Power Bond. We're going to activate Clockwork Knight, ditching the realm that we added back, getting Regulus. Now, we're doing good so far. We're doing good. Next up, Power Bond. Rampage Dragon. Setting both of our monsters. Remember, they're both treated as Cyber Dragon in the grave, so they're both Cyber Dragon monsters, so they count for Rampage. Now, Rampage's effects, we're going to send Hertz and Core. Hertz is going to get us back our core. Bang. We have not added back to hand yet. We're going to summon Therion King Regulus. We have gotten a little over 5 summons because we had Chimera, Clockwork, Wurm, Chimera, and Rampage. Once Rampage is on the board, they can nib us. But if they don't, Therion King now protects us. We get our normal summon. Sorry guys, you get to see my cat. Normal summon core. This time we're going to add Cyber Load Fusion. I know, that's a weird one. But watch. Next up, we're going to link into SP Little Knight. Getting rid of Chimera and Clockwork Knight. We're going to activate SP Little Knight's effect. I know, again, weird. We're going to banish the Hertz. Because again, we don't need it on the board. The cool thing about Therion King is once he's on the board, he's just live. He doesn't need anything attached to him to stay on the board. He doesn't even need to successfully attach the card to stay on the board. Now we'll Cyberload Fusion into another Rampage. We need to make sure we leave that core on the board. It's the last piece of the combo. We'll send these two. Basically our banished Hertz and our banished Cyber Dragon core. So you kind of could have used any Cyber Dragon really, except for Naxter. Summon another Rampage. Rampage effect. Now we're sending Naxter and Jormungandr again. You guys see where this is going. Go into into Nova, not Infinity. Nova's effects, detach, which also sets us up with our fusion engrave. We get Naxter, bang. Naxter gets us Jormungandr, bang. Overlay into Infinity, bang. Activate Jormungandr's effect. This time we're going to bounce the Cyber Dragon core, which is a great starter for next turn. Get our fusion substitute. Activate fusion substitute again. Fusing to make Heals for Rog. Heals for Rog's effect to get a fusion spell back. And then lastly, our fusion substitute one more time to draw us another card. So again, we started off with 1 card, we ended up with 2. So if we were going first with a 5-card hand, we would have 6 cards in hand with our 4 interruptions. So these are the 2 combos that I took and refined a little bit to be able to make this deck I wanted to build around. There's 2 other versions you could go into. You could go with the Abyss Dweller version, which ends you on 3 interruptions and an Abyss Dweller, though Abyss Dweller, I guess, isn't super meta defining right now, so that's why it's good against rogue decks, but I guess not good against the meta. That's why I didn't go for it, but I do have this it set up if I need to. You could use Union Driver to end on Vimana instead of Heal Sorag if that's what you want. But I decided to go with this because not only does it give us 4 decent interruptions, plus whatever's left in our hand, it gives us additional follow-up because we have these 2 cards in hand, plus we get a fusion spell back. Even with just the minimum that we have, these 2 cards and the fusion spell, that's a power bonded Chimeritic Rampage Dragon or Cyber Twin Dragon. Because you can normal summon the core, power bond, boom, smoke them. But this is the first video of this series, guys. We're going to have some gameplay. We're going to have some other thoughts. I want feedback. Give me your ideas. I want to refine this deck as much as possible so when I take it to YCS, I can actually do something. And of course, I'll tell you guys what I'm doing for training and what the results are when we have the YCS. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you guys want some more content from me, check out my other videos. If you guys want to see me play some Yu-Gi-Oh! Live, let me know down in the comments. I do a lot of live streaming. I do at least 3 streams a week. And dedicating one to Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know, I'd be down. But I need to know that you guys will be there. That is enough from me, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
Seeing in my eyes, I was born for this. I got demons on my side, you ain't high like this. I got reason to believe, I don't need it from my gifts. Only I can change the world and it go like this.